Hello and welcome to the Everyday Board Game Podcast with your host Daniel.
And Daniel.
And Daniel, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. This is a fun one that I had to come up with, and I've been doing some other stuff around the house. And
normally when I come up with these ridiculous ideas, you're like, you know what? Now I have to tolerate this absurdist idea. This
is not that absurd compared to some of the stuff you've come up with.
Oh, sure. I can come up with worse, too.
Yeah.
You see the stuff I don't pitch to you.
Yeah, exactly. But a little house cleaning. This is going to be airing about a month away from when this happened. But if you get a chance, go listen to So Very Wrong About Games. They were able to be special guests on their show in the month of May. Mm-hmm. So if you want to, go back and listen to it. If you're new followers of us because of that, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Yeah, hopefully you checked it out. That was a really fun episode to do, and he had to put up with us for a little bit, so that was interesting.
We were on our best behavior.
We tried to be good, you know. We really did.
We don't try, usually. When we're around other people, then yes.
When we have other people involved. That's what I'm saying. Like, we tried to be good.
So, how's it going, Board Game Bard?
Hey, Board Game Bard.
So, interesting story about this one. I thought it was going to be harder than I thought it was going to. And I'm like, oh, no, that works. Actually found out what that... And this is not a thing that you can find on Board Game Geek, but I found a term how this is supposed to be described as a mechanism. So I'm glad to finally have a name for it, and I'm going to be able to talk about it on this podcast.
So you found a mechanism that... All right, I'm curious about that.
Yeah.
Now, this is a weird topic, and like I said, I'm proud of what I came up with, because we've done something like this before. Yeah. We did like our favorite games from our favorite mechanisms.
Or our favorite games from our favorite designer or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. But we realized that you and I play so many card games, and there's so many mechanisms to card games. That
Funny enough, with Board Game Geek, consider a lot of these games as strictly card games because they have cards in them.
Right, exactly. Now, most of mine, now that you've said that, yes, the vast majority of mine are just strictly card games.
Mine are strictly card games. There's a couple in here that have boards. One of them is the only one that doesn't really follow this rule. Yeah. The other one, the board is strictly there for scorekeeping.
Yeah.
That's about it.
One of mine is about that.
And it has another board for like setup and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you're not doing anything on the boards other than setup and keeping track on scores.
Like some might have like tokens and stuff for different reasons. But yeah, I mean the core mechanism is cards. But we picked our favorite card-based mechanisms, and we're going to give you games for each of those.
Yes. I'm looking forward to it. I thought this was interesting. You and me both are we always say we're the suckers for the little small card games. And I mean, I have four
or five. It's in a double well box about that big. I'm probably in.
Yeah, I have 5 like photo case things just full of card games. I just bought a 6th one. It's sitting on my table right now because I have to put more card games in there. This way I could get more shelf space.
Yep.
So...
Yeah, actually, that reminds me. I have like a big old like drawer that I keep a lot of my card games in. Maybe I should throw them in a photo case. I should just start stacking up photo cases.
Yeah, that's the plan. And then when I get the desk that I want to get in here now, so me and the wife were talking, I'm not going to take the one that's in her office. I'm actually going to buy myself one of those electronic standing desks.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait for us to record an episode with that.
Yeah, while we're standing would be nice, yeah.
You know, my wife gave me an ultimatum.
Maybe in a little bit.
Yeah. Let's take it easy. For listeners of the podcast, I am wearing a boot. I have a fractured ankle. But, you know, it is what... I have put in today... so my doctor told me to rest it, so I did. I'm at 14,000 steps today.
Yeah, you usually hit about 20, so you're good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hitting more steps now than I did prior.
Because you have the boot.
Because I have the boot. I'm like, I'm ready to go, guys. This all-terrain vehicle right here. No, it's just, today's been a crazy day because, as listeners of the podcast know, I'm an educator, and today was the day that we launched our rockets. So we actually launched model rockets for 5th grade, and we go through recycling, getting them, getting their way to, like, build these recycled toilet paper roll, cardboard tube, whatever.
Yeah.
And using recycling, and then we launch them, and they're incredible. Like, some of the rockets go, like, 200 feet. It's fantastic, so... That was today's whole thing, because I was constantly on my feet, launching rockets, dodging them when they go a little haywire, you know? Go a little askew, you know? There's times to do with that. Hey,
thanks for the raid.
Thank you so much. We're right in the middle of our episode, so come hang out with us, chat in the chat, and tell us what you think. So yeah, I mean, like it's been a fun day, but I'm a little tired. I'm ready to sit down. And the good thing is, summer is coming up this time, and you know what that means? I can finally rest my feet by sitting down and playing all these board games.
Yeah, no, you're not gonna do that. You sitting down? Yeah, not gonna happen.
Hello from Ireland. Hey, that's awesome.
Cool. Thank you.
Oh man, it's got to be early in the morning right now. I imagine, but thank you guys.
Yeah, probably like 3.
Yeah, that's right. So let's talk about, again, what's the topic today? Is our favorite card game mechanisms and games that are associated
what do it
with
the
those.
best? Yeah, we think.
So hang around with us. But before we get into today's episode, Daniel, what have you been playing?
First game I'm going to talk about is a game that I've been trying to get off my shelf of shame. It just won a lot of awards from Board Game Geek, as well as stuff that you are, and it got a lot of nominations as well for the Dice Tower Awards and stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised to see if it gets at least a recommended from the Spiels.
Oh,
whether it be I'm probably the Kenner more than likely. But this is a pandemic system game called Lord of the Rings, Fate of the Fellowship from Z-Man Games and Matt Leacock. Finally got this one. And I feel this one is closer to the Fall of Rome pandemic system, because you're worrying about how the troops are triggering on the board. You're doing fights in the thing. It actually feels a lot like another themed pandemic game, the Star Wars Clone Wars, where you're also trying to go through certain quest lines to keep it going, but that's always the one ring is you taking out, trying to take the ring to the ring to Mordor. And so it has a lot going on with it. I have one issue with this game.
I remember you ranted quite about it.
I am going on 42 years old. I have okay eyesight. I do need to start wearing reader glasses because my eyes are getting a little old. This game was a chore to set up. I had to bust out my reader glasses before I could set up the board because it's such tiny little writing on that board for each and every single setup you have to do for it. Other than that, the game is fun. Don't play it with Gamehead Geek because he'll roll dice that just immediately get you halfway done with the game in the first roll.
Yep.
We barely went through the second turn and we're already lost half our hope for the game.
Yep.
So, but we had a blast and it was good. But yes, Grandpa Daniel.
That's right.
But the thing is, I showed it to him, and he even found it a struggle to see how tiny those little...
It's pretty bad.
Set up those little tiny meeples in the setup parts across the board, and you're sitting there like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And to top it all off, him and me are both colorblind.
Yes.
And the two factions are red and green,
yeah.
and the bad guys are the red, and one of your factions is green. Is like, am I supposed to set up a green on this? Am I supposed to set up a red on this?
Board Game Bard corrected it. Grandpa's Daniel.
There you go. But yeah, so Lord of the Rings, Fate of the Fellowship, I do enjoy it. I don't think it's my favorite that came out of 2025, but I do enjoy it. In fact, it's not my favorite of the themed pandemic systems either.
True.
I really do like the Star Wars Clone Wars one.
Yeah, I mean, that one is pretty good. But I think I've played it. I can't wait to try, like, some of the other pandemics. Like, I've tried most of the offshoot ones. Like, I've had all of, like, the side ones. I still like the real-time one, and I know I'm the only one who likes rapid response. But, you know, King Clanko, it's kind of my thing. All right, the next game I wanted to talk about was a game. I had a game night recently, and there was a spot in time where one of my regulars left, and we're waiting for a group of, like, 3 other people to come and join. So it was just 2 of us, and it was like, all right, well, let's play a game real quick. And my friend suggested we play Yinch, which...
Wow, you haven't played that one in a while.
I haven't played that in a hot minute. Oh, man. But it apparently was such an impact on her that she specifically requested it and absolutely destroyed me. I think she's been practicing because it was just brutal. Like, it was a gnarly, like... She almost beat me, like a full clean slate. Like, got 3 points before I even got 1. But the way Yinch works, in case for those of you who don't know, it's like a hexagonal grid. You have really cool pieces like these light and dark rings, and you have basically Othello chips. They're basically white on one side, dark on the other. You're trying to get 5 of yours in a row. But on your turn, what you're going to do is you're going to take one of your 5 rings, you're going to place a disc of your color inside of it, and then you're going to shoot it in a straight line as far as you want. Every chips that it crosses over flip to the opposite side, whether they were yours or not. And if you are able to coerce 5 in a straight line that are your color, then you remove those 5, and you also remove one of your discs as the point. And so, of course, you're going to find the one that's least valuable. It has one of the coolest catch-up mechanisms I've ever seen in an abstract strategy game, where since you start with 5 and you're losing them throughout.
Yeah.
I love that catch-up mechanism. So it's like, if you're doing better, you're going to go in with fewer resources. Now, you're still a little bit ahead, but that doesn't mean I can't, put you in a corner and really do it a great advantage.
Yeah.
And then, I've been listening to a lot of this French band called Engine de Poitrine, and they have full white and black...
Excuse you, this is a family-friendly
show?
Sir,
you heard me. And they wear full black and white polka-dotted outfits, and it matches the rings so much that I was like, we're jamming to this while I'm playing an abstract. It's gotta. So, Yinch, that was the first game I wanted to talk about.
And welcome back, Illuminous. It's been a while since we've seen you.
Hey, Illuminous. We missed you. Glad to have you back.
I do like Yinch. It's probably my favorite of the gift series that you forced me to play. I do like what it does.
It's your least... most tolerable.
It's my most tolerable.
Sure.
It kind of that's one of the reasons why I picked Donut when we were doing the Board Game Arena games, the Bruno Cathala one, because it feels a lot like that. I do like the fact that you could force people in Donuts to flip to your side if you play just right, and I like that. And I don't know.
I don't think it happened once during our game.
I did. That's how I ended up winning the game. I flipped 2 of your pieces, and it gave me 4 in the right spots, and then I just had to feed you into the line for me to make the play.
That'll do it.
And so I fed you the line where I could just place a piece no matter what, because there was no valid move for me to place.
Cool.
But yeah, I do like Yinch. What is the other one that you made me play?
So out of the GIF series, there is Yinch, GIF, Czar, Tzarr, Devon.
Czar was the other one you made me play. Because you made me play 3. Devon was one, Czar was the other, and then...
those are my 3 favorite.
And then was Yinch.
Devon, and Czar.
I liked Yinch. The other 2 were okay, but you know how I feel about abstract strategy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the next game I'm going to talk about is a card game, lucky enough. But it was an interesting take to a style of game that I'm hot and cold on nowadays. We like the system. We think they're fun games. But a lot of people overcomplicate this system. Mm-hmm. Finally got to try Tricky Kids from Pandasaurus Games by Danielle Reynolds and Steven Ungora. I can't read my handwriting and I can't pronounce his last name, so excuse me. It's a trick-taking style game. And it is... What's interesting about this is that you're going to get 9 cards. You're going to discard 2 of those cards. And then you're going to write 7 cards... a total sum of 21. So you could have 3 7s and nothing but zeros the rest of the way. If you write more than 21, you will get penalized because you actually keep your cards in front of you. So what happens when someone wins a trick, they take a piece, like a cardboard piece out of the middle of the floor or the table, and they circle what color they won the trick with. And that's going to be their points. So it could be, if they play blue and won the trick and it says blue 0, yellow 4, red 2, then if they won with blue, they're actually getting 0 points for winning that trick, but they can set up the next trick. And so that's a little push and pull aspect of it as well. And so, yeah, it is a tricky game in a sense.
As you would imagine, right?
But it's not that bad. And so my issue with it was, it didn't have a lot of bite to it. I thought it was okay. It was interesting that you're writing the numbers and you're trying to math out what everybody else is trying to do and stuff like that, and how you're going to play your numbers based on what you've gotten in your hands. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I really did enjoy what it did. But it was an interesting game. It was an interesting concept. I like what it was doing. I want to play it with its special rules, which will change what is happening per round. Kind of like how we kind of talked about Rebel Princess on the Bezier games, where the rules change every round. This one has different rules. So, you could win with a 0, because in the thing, if you play a 0 and you win the trick, you get nothing out of it. It's no points for you. But I like the fact that this one says, "Oh yeah, you can win with a 0 now," and then the lower card wins. Like a level 1 will beat out a 7 or whatever you put out there, and it's neat. I like what it does. So Tricky Kids from Pandasaurus Games, Danielle Reynolds and Steven Ungora.
Cool. I also played a card game as well. So like I said at the top of the episode, I do have a fractured ankle right now, and the week that happened, well, as you can imagine, I was kind of stuck in bed. So I was like, now is a great time. I still want to play card games. I still want to play games, but I got nobody to play with since I'm just kind of stuck here. Now's as good a time as any to learn Unstoppable by John DeClaire and Renegade Games, part of the Hero Solo series.
Yeah.
And by the way, I didn't name the designer of the previous one. It was Chris Byrne. Anyway, so Unstoppable is a multifaceted card crafting system. It's really clever how it works. I'm like eternally surprised by it. I'm trying not to be distracted by Daniel like throwing windows around. It's all good. I understand why, but he's like throwing it around on the screen there. But I'm going to turn towards you so I can just talk. So this game, Unstoppable, you have a series of good cards that you're trying to draw in your hand, and the way you get them is by defeating monsters that are on the back side of the card. Oftentimes they'll be randomly generated with a deck of threats and with a bunch of good cards that you're saving up effectively currency to buy those cards in your hand. When you do, you put them as a threat on the back, and they can also be upgraded. But when you upgrade the cards, it will not only benefit yourself, because you'll have better benefits, and there's 2 different spots to upgrade it. Yep. But on the back side, it will also potentially upgrade the monsters as well, which is kind of wild how that works. So once you've played them, they go into your discard pile. Once you reshuffle your discard pile, they become threat decks. Those are just a crazy system of card crafting, combination building, and just a really cool, clever system. Now, I played standard deck building style when I played it, which got my butt handed to me. It wasn't even close. It totally destroyed me, and I think the reason being is because I did that. I was like, all right, well, here's an opportunity to buy a card. Here's an opportunity to buy a card. Let me do it. Yeah. And there we go.
I still got to get mine off the shelf of shame, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'll teach you. There is a 2-player version, but I don't know. I've heard it's not as good, but I heard the Dungeon Crawl Carl version, the 2-player, is a lot better. So, either way, Unstoppable, John DeClaire, I was really impressed with it.
Speaking of which, I know it just finished the Kickstarter for the game. I'm thinking about picking it up on the Pledge Manager, just because I started the Dungeon Crawler Carl series.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And it's good. You didn't recommend it. I got yelled at by my wife to read it.
Yeah, well, I mean...
But
you're welcome for having your wife yell at you.
And answer Jamie's question, I do like some 90s games or early 2000s. None of the mass market ones. One of our favorite games might show up on our list over here, so I don't want to mention it, but that is from the 90s. What else?
Can't Stop is from the late 80s.
Can't Stop is one of our favorite dice games. Yeah, and from 1983, I think is what it was.
Yeah. Carl is so mid in that genre. Oh, that's funny. He really is.
All right, so my next game here is an old favorite that I haven't talked about in a while, which actually has me a little excited to finally get to talk about it again. I hadn't played this game in 3 years. Yeah, I was looking at the statistics on it, and we hadn't played it in 3 years. But this is Cartographers from Thunderworks game and the designer Jordi Adnan. We played the Afril expansion, which is the different little floating islands on there, and I liked how that worked with what you were trying to do. Plus, who doesn't like coloring in board games? Where else can you get a flip-in color game in this case? Because you're just putting out different polyomino sets, you're trying to get coins, you're trying to score the highest while defending yourself from monsters. And the reason why I like this expansion a lot is because the islands all had some weird little shapes to them. So you could set it up, if an island's not open, when someone has to draw a monster, you can make it where they can only draw the 1x1, or the only place for them to set up is where you already put a hero in place to knock things out. So it was really, really interesting how that set works, and I do need to get this back to the table again, because I really do enjoy this game a lot. I have all the expansions for it. And we were shocked that we hadn't played it in a while. And it was a nice way just to end our game night that week. And so this game was Cartographers again from Thunderworks and Jordi Adnan.
Next game I want to talk about was from one of our listeners talking about mass market games. And I'm actually going to bring this up because this is originally produced by the Bicycle Playing Card Company. And they got into a series of board games. And this was a game that really flew under the radar. It's called Emergency Broadcast. I ended up picking this up on discount at an Ollie's. Just because it had the bicycle thing on it. I'm a playing card collector, so I was like, okay, let's give it a try. And this game is a take on dominoes, except there's multiple ways to score points. So, like, for example, you might be trying to get, like, your largest group of, like, emergency medical supplies. I might be trying to get, like, pairs of, like, radios and food rations next to each other. And there's a bunch of different cards that you have hidden away in your hand. Mm-hmm. And the way it works is you're going to be laying tiles, domino style. You put it next to one that's already been on there, or on top of other tiles that are already on there.
Yeah.
Now, there's a little meeple that jumps around, and whenever you place a tile, you put that meeple on top of it, so somebody can't just immediately cover it up, okay. Right? Which makes sense. That would be kind of a jerk move. And that's to help take care of that. But what makes this game really clever is that you have a large board that represents the water, and you're putting the tiles out on the water first for the first round. The second round, you can no longer place ones on the water because the water is rising. So that's now your raft. You only put tiles on top of other tiles. And then, on the third round, which is the final round, you have to place water tiles on top of any layer that's a single tile high. So now it's only second or higher can you place tiles on. Mm-hmm. So you're trying to build out the board as best as you can, but at the same time, the water is rising and it's slowly sinking away other tiles, and then you can no longer place on those. I just found that really clever. I found it engaging, and it works pretty well. I'm not certain about, like, the scoring cards. Some of them are kind of weird, and some of them seem a lot easier than others. I might, like, house rule, like, if you actually get these two diagonally from each other, then it's 3 points instead of 2, or something like that. It's some small difference. But either way, I was pretty impressed. Emergency Broadcast by Bicycle Cards, and I don't know who the designer is, so my apologies.
That sounds pretty interesting. I should check this one out.
And amazing components, by the way.
And amazing. Then to Jamie's Buzz, a recommendation for you. I put it in the chat there, but since you're used to in your newbie in the hobby and stuff like that, you were saying, we recommend stuff from Game Right Games.
Anything from Game Right.
They're right up that mainstream kind of mass market alley. They're not overly expensive, and they're very simple rules. In fact, you can see one right over my shoulder over here, Dragon Isles. Mm-hmm. It has a smaller version of it called Dragon Wood, which is just a push your luck little dice game where you're trying to beat dragons. Real simple stuff.
Basically playing Gin Rummy, but with dice and beating up monsters. It's really fun.
All right, my last game I'm going to talk about is one of my favorite games of all time. I finally got to play the newest set of this game, and you may or may not hear a recommendation on it a little bit later. But the newest one I played was Ascension Legends from Stoneblade Entertainment and Justin Gary, which is the newest set, as I mentioned over here. What I liked about this system, compared to like some of the other stuff that they have, it's a track system. Every time you buy something from one of their core, like the Mechana or the Void, or any of the other two, Lifebound and Enlightened, you move up on a track. If you get to a certain point on the tracks, if you have cards, it'll tell you, like, if you're past this point on the track, then this power takes effect, or you get 2 money instead of 1 money, or something like that. If you're past this part of the track, then this does this attack, and you ignore whatever is supposed to be out there. It's just like a direct attack kind of thing. And I like about going up on that track system, and then when you go all the way up on one track, then you trigger the Legends ability. And so every turn, when it's your turn, if you're above that track, you can actually use that Legends ability now as part of your system. Such a fun game. I love this style of game. We've talked about this a lot. I'm not going to hark on it too much. I really do enjoy Ascension a lot. In fact, I have everything. You don't really see it above me anymore because it's in my kitchen because we just recently played it again. But this is probably my third, maybe fourth favorite set, and they have like 12 sets. So I'm looking forward to trying the Lord of the Rings version of it. So it'd be really interesting.
For sure. And the last game I want to talk about was a game by Johannes Goopy. I don't know the publisher off the top of my head. My apologies, but it's called Nautilus Island. I got this fairly recently. And I'm a big fan of, like, Jules Verne, 20,000 Leagues. I mean, Flip Voyage is up there above Daniel's head. You know, anything with that theme, I'm in. Anything with the Nautilus, I'm probably in. And this game is a very simple card drafting game. It's not a pick and pass drafting, it's open drafting. And the spaces on the Nautilus are where those cards are located. Some decks are face down, some are face up. And it also has an element of worker placement. So on your turn, if it starts with all your workers on the top, everybody only has one worker. You move it down below the Nautilus, and you place in any column you want when it's your turn. And what makes that really clever is that the further left you start, the earlier you'll take turns in the future rounds, but then also the fewer cards you actually gain for that. So you're either going to get 1, 2, or 3 cards. So if I put in a column with 3 cards, I'm going to get the top card of each of the 3 decks.
Mm-hmm.
If I put it in the single column, then I get 1, right? Which makes sense. But if I put it in the first column, then that means I'm going to get first pick on the next one. And I'm going to jump back up. And you're jumping back and forth on different sides of the Nautilus, either taking the cards that are there, or the number of stacks might also determine how many cards you can play of the same color. And you're in a race to have set collection. If you get like 4 or 5 of them, then you can get these bonus tokens that will give you multipliers. Or you can actually get other ones by playing certain sets of certain colors. There's bonus tokens that you'll get from there that are either worth flat points, or they might multiply, or they give you bonus points if you have like an odd number at the end. And there's this fun little dichotomy of going back and forth,
mm-hmm.
jumping back and forth, because obviously if you take a column, I can't go there. But then I can't stay in my same column the next time I jump over to the other side. So I might want to jump all the way to the left just so I can go first, or I'm okay with going last because I'm going to jump to the end anyway. Do 3, play 3 cards, get a bonus. It's really cool. There is only one thing that I don't love about it, is that they have a little dial that's put into the board itself that just has an arrow either up or down, and that's which side you're going from the Nautilus. And it's like they actually had to put like a punch, like little dial thing, and a piece of plastic in it with just an arrow, just on the board. Like you couldn't just put a piece, and just jump back and forth. I guess like that's cool that they did that, but I know that costs money to manufacture or something like that. It's kind of unnecessary. Not that often that you have a full board on a board game that has a dial or something, some kind of punch out that you have to put into it. It's kind of weird, but it's not that big of a deal. So Nautilus Island is the last game I'm going to talk about today. And of course, with that being said, let's start on today's episode. This is our best games, or our favorite card game mechanisms, and our best games with those.
Yeah, the recommendation for the game that we think does it best, in a sense. But it's just going to be titled Our Favorite Card Mechanisms, just to make my life easier on the title screen.
So now my question for you is, how many crossover do you think we're going to have? I think you and I might have up to 4 or 5.
I think we're going to have maybe 2, if that.
If that. Wow, you went obscure then, huh?
No, I just know what I like. And, well, we may have 3 because how we like these games. I just don't know. It's all depending on the mechanisms. That's the thing. It's not like that's going to be... It may be game crossover, but for different reasons.
It's true.
Because there's a couple things that can fit into different types of card categories as well. So that is my issue for that as well. It's like, maybe they could be like 4 games each, but it's depending on how we went with the mechanisms.
And now... I feel like I found about like 30 mechanisms that I could go with, right? And I took as loose of a mechanism definition as I could.
Yeah.
And by that I mean like there's different things that you do with the cards, different ways you play the cards, different objectives with said cards or whatever. And some of them can be used in other different like categories.
Yeah.
Like I have some card mechanisms that could be used without cards. Totally, that's a thing, right?
Yeah.
But
I mean, a lot of times card shedding and ladder climbing or hang out with each other. But like, there's some that do the ladder climbing part of it better, and then there's some that do the card shedding better.
Right, exactly. So there's ways that we're going to be talking about that. We'll tell you about our mechanism. We're starting with our number 8. I'm going to flip the coin of doom. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Starting with me. My number 8, I picked the trading mechanism. I am a big fan of bartering and trading and wheeling and dealing in a lot of my games. And I found what I think is the best example of a trading mechanism in a game. Because you never directly deal with your opponent. You are trading into a market row or out of a market row or taking from said market row that is manipulated by you and your direct opponent. This is Jaipur. I am a massive fan of this.
Who didn't see this one coming?
If you listen to most of my episodes, you know that this was coming. That's why it's my number 8. Because, like, it's not just, like, trading. Like, there's a lot of games that was like, oh, I'll give you this. I like that. Like, I like Pit a lot, which is over 100 years old now. And it's a really fun, frantic trading game. And it works really well. But Jaipur, since you're not directly trading with your opponent, there's no adversarial demand for it. It doesn't feel like I'm just trying to win a deal over you. I played with an old friend of mine once, and I remember I offered, there was some game that had some negotiation in it, and I offered, it's like, hey, well, I'll trade you this for that. And they said, mathematically, there's no benefit to doing that, so I'm never going to trade you with that. So only when it's going to benefit me will I ever trade you.
Yeah.
Even if, like, the things vary in circumstance, or, like, certain things mean more to other players, that's the only time that they're willing to deal. And that makes sense. Why would you, right?
Yeah.
But if you're trading with a market row, knowing that there are things that might become available to your opponents, and that's the risk you take with it, I think that's a really clever way of doing it. So trading is my number 8 favorite card mechanism, and Jaipur is the recommendation for that.
Well, see, I didn't get trading on mine.
No?
My number 8, though, is one that might be on your list, but you might have a different game for it. This is Set Collection is what my pick is. And the game I think does it really well, especially nowadays, is one of my favorites. I recently just showed this to you as well, and I got to pick up the expansions for it, and that is Veil of Eternity.
Oh, okay.
From Mandu Games and Eric Hong. I love the combo-tastic of this game as well, and I love the simple drafting. A snake draft is like, if I'm first, I get that card, and then whatever's left over for me. And this is the one where I was telling you we have boards on there, but one is just for scoring, and the other one is just for setup for the cards, because you have to put the cards in different sections and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so you're drafting the cards, and you're using them as multi-use cards, as either you're trading them in for the money that the section that they're in, or you're putting them into your hand, or you're using them for, like, you have to discard a card to use a card's power or something like that, but you're putting them out in front of you as well to do special abilities, and they combo off each other. It's like, hey, you're going to get so many points if you have this many blues in your hands. Well, or I got 3 blues in my hand, so there's some points there. You're going to get so many blue points depending on how many of other colors you have on the table in front of you, and it's like, okay, well, I got 3 other colors on here, so 3 more points for me. And it's a race to whoever triggers 60, and then after that, whoever has the most points after the game, or 10 rounds. So there is a couple in-game scenarios where if someone hits 60 before the 10 rounds, then we just go into the final scoring, and then, or we just hit 10 rounds and whoever has the most points at that time wins. I love everything about it. I love the different phases that this does, real simple turns. So my set collection pick is Veil of Eternity from Mandu Games and Eric Hong.
And Illuminous, I do agree. Like, Jaipur is a great set collection game, but I feel like with trading, I love that market row indirect conflict. So good. Number 7. Here we go. I'm starting this off. My number 7 is Set Collection. And you didn't call the game, though. Set Collection was my 7th favorite mechanism. And there's a lot of games that do it well, but this one specifically I enjoy the Set Collection for 2 aspects. This is Nar from Pandasaurus.
It was on my short list.
Yeah, and the reason being, I was thinking about it. Yes, you are trying to build up the sets of the colored cards in order to trade them in for the boats. Of course, that's what you're doing.
Also, to let everybody else know, too, if you're not in America, you can find it through Bombex.
Okay, yeah, Bombex or Pandasaurus, yeah. So, Nar, though, you're getting these sets to trade in for the boats. That's the best way you're going to get your points. However, every time you play a card as a colored action, you look at every card that you have of that action, or of that same color, and you do all of the actions for it. So it's action selection, action building, and set collection at the same time. And because both of those work in a way of set collection, I really enjoy it. I think it just sings beautifully. I like how it's in a smaller box, and it's like kind of filled to the brim. I do appreciate that fact. So Nar is my number 7 favorite card mechanism because of the set collection.
All right, my number 7 is the game mechanism that is not on Board Game Geek, but it is a very important game mechanism, so I had to find this one out. And this is Immutable Hand. What I mean by that is hands that you cannot adjust.
Oh,
so,
okay.
If you get a card in there and it's in that hand in that certain style, you have to put it
So that, you genuinely, like, if they say, oh, you can't change the order of your hand, you're like, go on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
I like that style because it's like, okay, how do I have to fix this puzzle here?
Yeah.
And a lot of games do this, but the one that I think does it the best is the one that everybody goes to, and this is Bonanza from Uwe Rosenberg and Amigo.
Yep.
I like what this is doing. I love the fact that it does what Pit does, but better. It gives you that willy dealing. It's like, I got this chili pepper. I got to get it out of my hand because I don't need anything with this. Another game that does it really well is more of a board game than a card game. Luxor from Rudiger Dorn. That does it really well, and I love that mechanism.
Play either the left or right card. Yeah, sure.
And every card you take in goes into the middle. So, but I think Bonanza does this really well.
Sure.
A lot of cards take from Bonanza, especially this one mechanism, and I love games. There's another one that you had me play. Is it like Delt or something like that?
Yeah, Delt.
Where you could have put in anything. There's other games where you can't really do it. There's another game I may or may not be talking about later that does something different for it, and I like it better for what it's doing. Scout is another game that has the immutable hands, where you cannot change your hand style whenever you take something into it. You can place it in there, but it can never be moved again until you play out, and you can get stuff to get closer together and start playing from there. Bonanza does it really well because you also get that wheeling and dealing, and you're yelling at people across the table. It's like, I got this chili pepper, and I don't want this, and I know you're growing chili pepper, so if you could give me 3 green beans, I'll be more than happy for it, and that kind of thing. So or chili beans, sorry.
Sure.
But yeah, I love Bonanza a lot. I think it does really well, and the fact of the matter is, who doesn't love a silly little card game? The art style is really silly. You get a lot of laughter at the table when you're yelling across and trying to make your willing and dealing about who's going to take this chili bean from me for I can get some green beans going on over here because I need to score my green beans right now and I need those green beans to come into my hand. So yeah, Bonanza, immutable hand.
Okay. All right, on to our number 6s. Okay, this poker chip likes me the best today. Hand management is my number 6, and this is one where I feel like you have to play in a clever way. I feel like immutable hand, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Is a form of hand management. And it's not why I picked it for this, but I agree. Like that's a really important thing. Knowing what you have in your hands, why you have to do it, and what you have to do with it is a really important aspect of gaming. Like very important.
Yeah.
And games that really tie into that, like, it's not just knowing what you have in your hand and how you can play it. If there's a specific way you have to deal with it, and how different things in your hands could be in different values at different times in the game, I feel like that just makes you feel so much better when you crack that case, solve that puzzle. So I picked Onirim, which is one of my favorite solo games of all time. I feel like it exemplifies hand management, because there's a lot of times where you're always going to draw 5 cards in your hand, but whether you need to go for like the cards that you need to play out in the doors, what do you discard to replace a card because you're always going to refill back up? When you draw the Nightmare card, are you going to pitch your hand? Well, if it's not that good, then okay, that's fine. But sometimes if you're playing with expansions, you'll have like doors that are clogging up your hand. And the only way to do it is by voluntarily throwing away your hand or by pulling a Nightmare.
Yeah.
But again, there's cards that help you manipulate the deck to get your hand to where you need to be to get the plays out that you need to solve the game. And on top of that, if you draw a door and you have a key in your hand because you've been saving that key, or even if you draw a Nightmare, those keys are immensely powerful. So Onirim, I think, is the best example of hand management.
My favorite thing about doing with those keys, too, is like, I already have both blue doors. Yeah. Let me drop this key. Let me draw the 5 cards off the deck or something like that. Ooh, there's a gremlin that's coming up. Get out of here.
Get out of here. Yep.
Everything else back on top.
That's right.
All right, so my number 6 here is, again, you can't find this style on Board Game Geek, kind of. I think it's more under family than anything, but this is a card style game. And I put it as poker style game. Because a lot of games are coming out. Combo from Happy Camper is a poker style game. Yep. What is the new Phil Walker All In predictions? Phil Walker Harding is the one.
Yep.
But the one I enjoy the most, especially now, because I don't know how they did it, but they made this game a cooperative poker game. Yes. And so The Gang is my pick for poker style game. I grew up playing poker, and then this is published by Cosmo and John Cooper and Corey Heath. I really do enjoy what this is doing because how do you take poker, what everybody's grown up on, what everybody's seen, which is a very competitive game about trying to read other players, And in this one, you're still trying to read the other players, but now you're like, wait, does his rank beat my rank? Is that what I'm trying to read here? That's what he's saying when he's grabbing that 3? But I have pocket kings right now. Is he holding the aces, or is he running a flush right now? What's going on? And so you're trying to get that bluffing aspect in this game where you're trying to read your partners out there, be like, okay, how are we doing this? And I like the fact that you're going through the full hand, and you could just play the basic game, teach the game, and be like, okay, you're doing this whole thing, and we win or lose because we all got our hands right, the ranking of our hands right. You only had 2 pairs, yes, you should take 1. I had a 4 of a kind, I should have taken the 3, but I thought you were getting the straight flush because there's a lot of diamonds on that board right now. So that kind of thing is interesting aspect of it. And then when you're comfortable with how it plays in that cooperative style, you can go into the massive part of the game where you have to basically break into a vault and try to get 3 treasures before the alarms go off. But every time you succeed, a negative effect takes on you. Or every time you fail, a positive effect starts helping you guys out. And I love that little push and pull of the game where it's like, oh, you're making this too easy? Let's make this hard for you. And so, I want to get the deluxe version of this game that's going to come out around Gen Con time. I think the poker style renaissance that's going on right now with everything that's coming out, mentioned it here, Luminous Hell of the Deal from Smirk and Dagger Games. I did back that one. I'm intrigued at how it's working because that one, you're actually going to be cheating in the game and you're trying to cheat the devil. And so I like that one, that idea of it. So it's going to be interesting. Combo is another good poker-esque game. Yeah. But my favorite by far is the game.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I mean, Ace of Spades just climbed up for me immediately on that poker mechanism. That was the first one that came to mind when I saw the poker mechanism. I'm like, yeah, it's good. All right. On to our number 5s.
Number 5s. All right. This one is the only one that does have a board game part of it, but the entire game is driven by card play. But this is such a fantastic game, I could not put it on the list. And this is a card mechanism known as Action Retrieval. The game that I picked, you probably know it. We all love it. Concordia. Yep. I had to put this on my list because, one, Action Retrieval is actually one of my favorite mechanisms. Aquatica does it really well. Another one that does it really well is Century. The Spice Rolled or Golem, whichever one you want, that does it really cool. But I think Concordia is the one that it just shines at. Because there's a lot going on. I'm either trying to use it to get myself resources or buy better cards out of the market, or I'm trying to expand my control of the board and stuff like that. A little area control on there. This is from PD Verlong, Rio Grande Games, and Matt Gertz. Which this is the game that really put Matt Gertz on the map for me. I tried most of his stuff that he's done because of you, mainly, because you're the one that finds the most random stuff that he makes. But yeah, it is such a good game. I like the fact that you either play out a card, do what it says, or you play out a card to take everything back. It does that so well. And it leads to what we like about card games or just games in general. The combo-tastic nature is like, I did this, now I could trigger this. Last time we played this with Gamehead Geek, I was like the brick slumlord over here. It's like, I'm getting all these bricks because I have this card that scores me to have all these brick factories right now. Because, it just works so well. I do enjoy this a lot. So, Action Retrieval, and my game is Concordia. And I agree, Spirit Island is good. Yep. I personally prefer Concordia.
Yeah.
Spirit Island can go long.
I forgot Spirit Island can do that. Yeah, it does. I mean, that's so good. All right, my number 5 is the one that I was almost certain that we would not have a crossover, but mechanism or game at all. And mine is pre-constructed card games. And that's because I grew up playing TCGs. I started with Pokemon. I played Magic the Gathering. I've played almost every TCG that's come out since, with some exceptions, of course. Like, I'm not in the scene anymore. But I've always enjoyed that pre-constructed deck where you get what you get and you want to make it as efficient as you can. So that means you're in the game, you're in the meta before you even have to play the game. And you go to a tournament, you play with friends, and you see, did it pay off? Did I get what I needed to? But this one, I wasn't comfortable saying TCGs on this, even though, it makes sense, right? But we are a board game podcast, and I wanted to pick one that is non-collectible. So I picked Compile. And the reason I picked Compile is because you have a bunch of different categories. Specifically, like main one has like 12 different categories. You deal out a certain number of them, and like I think 8 or 10, and you each open draft 3 packs of those, shuffle it up, and that becomes your deck. These cards can either be placed face up for their actions or face down to just count as 2 for whatever power of whatever areas you're competing over. Once you compete in a certain area and you win that category, then you win. It's a beautiful production. The cards are great quality. I really enjoy like the theming of it. It's like a hacker theme, and I like how each of the decks of cards like have their own style and how they play, but like their one word descriptor, like hate. If you pick a pack that says hate, you're going to be attacking your opponent, right? You know that. But if it says something like ice, then you're going to do some kind of manipulation, and you're going to be
basically freeze them their stuff.
Yeah, right? You know, if you have one that's like abundant or whatever, like growth, then you know that you're going to be like manipulating your deck and building out. And I like that one word descriptor that describes each of the packs and describes generally their function, and you try to combine the 3 decks that will synergize the best to your victory. So Pre-Constructed is just super clever, and Compile is a great example of that.
I don't disagree with you on that aspect of it, the Pre-Constructed. I thought this was more of a line battler than anything, because it is basically just to control the line, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I picked it more so for Pre-Constructed, just because line battlers, there's a lot of line battlers that are good. Like Zenith, we just discovered, was fantastic, right? I like Lost Cities and stuff, but really, the Pre-Constructed part of it is for my love of TCGs, and I was like, yeah, you know, we had one of our
well, then you should have just picked Smash Up for this. There you go.
No, because I don't think that's one of the best examples of it. All right, number 5, Pre-Constructed. Let's move on to our number 4. My number 4 is multi-use cards. And I know this is going to be on yours. I already know it. I'm not going to say which one. I'm not going to claim it. But my favorite multi-use card system is San Juan. It's the card game version of Puerto Rico. I showed it to you. You fell in love with it because you saw how it works. And it's different enough from Puerto Rico that it really, you have to be able to pick either one.
And the one you can currently pick up is San Juan Special Edition 1897.
Yes. Yeah, and it's from Awakened Realms.
Or if you can find the old one from Alea.
Yep.
Andreas Sayforth.
Yeah, yep. And it's a really just smart game. And the way it's multi-use is that each of the cards can either be used to play as their buildings or whatever they are, which will give you endgame victory points or more abilities to do it, or your cards are your currency. If I play a building that costs 5, that means I need to discard 5 other cards. And then on top of that, there's no tokens in the game. So when you produce materials and like tobacco or sugar or whatever on the cards themselves, you take cards off of the deck, and that counts as your tokens. So I know that's like a subtle thing. It doesn't need to be that way.
I get you. Yeah.
It is. The fact that you're using cards as currency, I feel, is not authentically multi-use cards, but it is, right? It goes along with that hand management. You can take your pick if you like either one. The thing is, like hand management, there's over 18,000 games on Board Game Geek that say hand management, right? If you have a hand of cards, it's hand management. But specifically, San Juan, knowing that every card is potentially 1 coin to buy any other card, that's really great. But then you have to choose what you're discarding to get the one card you want. And is it worth it to get rid of the other ones in exchange to just be able to play the one? I love it. Oh my goodness, do I love it. So, my number 4, multi-use card, San Juan.
Yeah, that one is fantastic. I like that one a lot. All right, my number 4 is a game I've already mentioned today at the top of the podcast. This is a deck building game mechanism, and this is Ascension. Ooh. But the one I specifically picked is my favorite of all sets, and this is Dawn of Champions. From Stoneblade Entertainment and Justin Gary. This is by far my favorite set. If I'm going to recommend any set for someone to play, it's going to be this one or the original set, or 10th Anniversary Edition or 15th Anniversary Edition, which I think is the most recent one that's coming out. And the main reason I recommend this one is because of the champions. Yeah, they have a little thing where you have to pay attention to, because it's you have to buy that specific champion stuff for you to go up on that list. But by going up on that list, more and more stuff makes it easier for you as you're going. And it gives you something to work for. Or you're the Mechana champion, then maybe you should buy Mechana cards. Or you're the Enlightened champion, maybe you should buy Enlightened cards. This is basically giving that idea for people to how you should play your style of game right now, because this is the character you're playing at. And all of this stuff is going to work really well with each other, because once you get to a certain point with that champion, you get to put that champion into your deck and start using his card's ability. And I love what this one does. I am the champion for this version of it, because this is by and far the one I teach everybody if they haven't played an Ascension game before. I do own both. If you just want something that's down and dirty, pure and simple deck building, then the original set is perfect.
Yeah.
But if you want something that's going to help you, because everybody's like, there's a lot of information on the table, Mechana and Lighten, what should I go for, and stuff like that. Here's your champion. This is what you should go for, because you can move up on this track. If you get all the way to the top, you're going to get a certain amount of points at the end of the game, and all the cards are going to work with each other if you go with this champion. It doesn't necessarily mean you can't go for any other cards, but maybe you should work with cards that have the Enlightened Mechana aspect, because you'll still get your points for being the Enlightened champion, but now Mechana is going to work with you as well. And now that you have that card, you can dabble in Mechana as well as Enlighten, and all that stuff is going to work for you. And it's just so much easier for people to grok that. It's like, oh, this is what I got to go for.
Yep.
And then I can dabble in everything else. Yeah, and so it works really well. So for me, deck building games, Ascension, Dawn of Champions.
Cool. All right, we're on to our number 3s.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. All right. My number 3 is, I know we described shedding and ladder climbing differently. And they are different mechanisms. Let's be clear. Shedding is you're trying to purge your cards. Think Uno. That's the obvious one. Yeah, purge your hand. First one to do that wins, right? Whereas ladder climbing, you're trying to continuously one up the previous player.
Yeah.
This game uses both, but I mainly did it for the shedding aspect. And this is Scout by Oink Games. I don't remember the designer. Again, Ken something, I think. Do you remember the designer?
Nope.
No, I don't remember.
That's why I write my stuff down.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm trying to be better about it, but, I'll remember the next couple. Scout is by Oink Games, I know that, and this is a really clever game where they're multi-sided cards. They range anywhere from 1 to 10, and the other side is any other number from 1 to 10, except there's no duplicates on any card.
Also has a mutable hand.
It also has a mutable hand, and you have to play sets of cards from your hand in order to play and beat the previous hand.
Kai Kanjino.
Thank you, Luminous. Yes, this game works so well as a set collection, as a set playing, because if you play a pair of something, I have to play a pair of something that is higher, or I have to play a 3 of a kind that is just any number. If the quantity of cards increases, you're fine. Otherwise, you have to be able to play a better set. In this, you can play either runs, or you can play sets of. So a pair, 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, 5 of a kind, or 2, 3, 4, or 5 cards in a row. Now, what I really enjoy about this is since the cards have to be in your hand, and since they have different values, one on each side, when you play a set of those, if somebody can't beat it, they choose either the highest or lowest card in your set. They take it and choose one of those two sides to put in their hand. There's another game that does it really well that's simpler called Jungo, but the double layered cards and the ability to either scout or play, or scout and play on a single turn, and you're trying to avoid having cards in your hand because those are worth points throughout, is great. And I also like the fact that if I take a card from somebody, then that means that you get a point automatically by doing it. Otherwise, you're trying to play out your cards. I think it's really clever. By beating others, you take it as points. It's so cool. I cannot rant about it. And how dare you kick my broken ankle, sir?
You deserve it.
I mean, I don't think that was that bad of a pick, personally. Listeners of the podcast at home, you'll hear me wailing in pain.
No, they won't. Because you're not a big baby. My number 3 pick is actually a direct crossover in a sense. I also picked card shedding.
Yeah.
But you actually mentioned the game I picked, and I think that does card shedding better.
Yep.
And this is Jungo. Because it's simpler. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy Scout. I enjoy both of these games. I have both of these games. I think Jungo is just a much lighter game to that aspect than Scout is. And that is Jungo from Happy Camper Games and Toshiki Aro. And you hear us talk about this game a lot. I just recently played it not too long ago.
The Japanese designers really know how to do
card games.
The original card game President is, I think, a Japanese design, and that's used a deck of cards, and that just does same kind of shenanigans of just shedding. It's so cool.
I mentioned Combo, which is also known as Surfasaurus Max. Yep. That's a Japanese designer as well. But yeah, they just know what they're doing here. But the reason why I picked Jungle for the card shedding is because if you just play Jungle as it is, first person to shed their cards win. There's nothing else about that. But if you want to play with the variant, then it's the first person to shed their hand twice. And then it could be, you can play it in 2 rounds, you can play it in 4 rounds. It just depends. But I like that aspect of it. It's very simple. It's not as complicated when you have to worry about the other 2 cards.
Sure.
There is a card that gives you 2 numbers, but you just use it for one number or the other number. That nothing in between there.
Yeah.
What I like about it is your choice. Like, if you beat somebody's shed, you could take the cards that you beat, put them in your hand wherever you want in your hand, because it's also another one with an immutable hand, but I just think this does card shedding much better. And you also could be like, okay, I'm going to put this in here, and now I have 3 6s in my hand because I beat your 2 6s with my 2 7s. And what I like about that is because if you don't want that, because again, it's about getting everything out of your hand, even though you can make yourself a bigger play, now I can throw these away instead of putting them in my hand. But if you cannot make a play, then you draw a card off the top of the deck. If you draw that card off the top of the deck and it can help you defeat what's at the table, you call Jungo and you play the cards in your hand. Again, they still have to be next to each other. With that card you just pulled to beat that card out of your hand. Mm-hmm. Or you take that card, put it in your hand to help you get somewhere stronger. Or you take that card and discard it and that's your turn. And it's all about getting that card, all those cards out of your hand. I love the way this works. I think it's a fantastic game. I agree with you. Card shedding is one of my favorite mechanisms.
Yep.
And I agree with you. Scout is a good pick, and I do like it. I just like the fact that Jungo, I could teach this to non-gamers without too much headway. And that's why I picked it, because I can take this over to a family gathering on Thanksgiving and teach it to my mother-in-law.
Sure.
Or my grandma, because she's very familiar with card shedding, where I had to describe, okay, but then you could choose to flip your card the other way however you want to do it, and it's just, no, these are your numbers, play them like this.
Yeah,
you don't have to worry about running runs, like 1, 2, 3, 4, it's just you play the number, 3 6s, 2 6s, whatever, that could beat the card that's in front of you.
Yep.
So Jungo is my number 3 for card shedding.
Alright, and now to our number 2, and yes, Luminous, I do agree, I do want to try on Rest. I mean, I'm a big Netrunner fan. It was almost there for my pre-constructed. Almost. 2. Here we go.
All right. Number 2 for me is a big one, because I mentioned about it at the top of the podcast that you and me are getting hot and cold on this specific style of game.
Yes.
Because everybody and their mother is putting out one nowadays. Yes. But I still really do love these style of card games. And this is trick taking. And there's one that recently came out that has just soared for me. And it's the fact that it's such a good theme. One, it makes it cooperative. It looks really good, too. It's got some fantastic artwork on it. It is a campaign-style game that it just sings with my other group. We do like trick-taking, and it's not overly complicated trick-taking. It's more like, how do we do what we need to do? And most people would pick The Crew. I prefer this version of the cooperative trick-taking game. This is Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, the trick-taking game from Office Dog and Brian Bornmuller. I also like the fact that because it's a Lord of the Rings game, and I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, yes. I love it. I'm looking forward to King's Gambit from Restoration Games, is the fact that it's more book-based than movie-based, because most people only think about the movies, but I read all the books in high school, and I read all the books right before the movies came out. I haven't read the books in about 10 years, but I do really enjoy these books. And the fact that it's telling the story of the book, and so you have characters in there that you never saw in the movie, and I'm like, oh, I remember this, and I know this part of the chapter, and I know what is going on here. Yeah, it is fantastic. I love the fact that it's just fun, simple turns,
sure.
Where it's like, I'm playing my card out here, and this is going to happen out, and there's only some nuances to the rules, and it increases the difficulty as you're going down, because it's like, okay, you're playing that character and you can only take 3 tricks the total. So we got to somehow feed you 3 tricks. Or it's like, this person can only ever win 1 trick or we lose the round if they get a second trick. And so we're trying to figure out who's got what in one hand. And I like that certain characters can trade with certain characters. So there's a little information with the limited communication. I was like, oh, Ooh, but we have to give you the rings, but you need to win that specific ring, but you need a certain amount of forest cards because that's the number you have to win specifically that trick, and then we can feed other tricks to you if we need to.
Right.
I love that push and pull. I think this does trick taking really well. We have a blast with it. This is Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, trick taking game. Haven't played Two Towers yet. I do want to check that one out.
All right, and now my number 2 is not. I think it's a very quintessential card game mechanism. It's press your luck, and I just love press your luck. It's one of my favorite mechanisms. Period. Right, but I think it's the second best card game mechanism. I don't know what you're looking at. It's not blackjack. If that makes you feel better.
No,
because it's not blackjack. What are you glaring at me for?
If it's the one I think it is, I'm going to beat you with that lightsaber over there.
Why? You tell me what it is. What do you think it is?
Is it a Knizia game?
No.
Okay, we're good.
Wait, which Knizia game?
Llama?
No, although that did cross my mind. That would have been shedding.
Shedding,
It's not
okay.
press your luck. That would have been shedding. Mine is Bonanza, actually. And so, let me explain why. Because when you're building up those 2 fields, that is a press your luck game. Everything about that, the irreputable hands or whatever,
Immutable.
right?
Immutable.
Irrespectable hands.
This is an irrespectable pick.
When you can't change your... Oh, by the way, this is from Amigo Games and Uwe Rosenberg.
I wonder who's going to pick this up with Amigo down.
I don't know.
Because it needs to be kept
It
going.
needs to be kept in this market. Yes, I think Rio Grande Games is the one who does that. I saw Ink and Gold on there. But yes, that's a good press your luck too with the card game. So the way this makes it so smart, though, is that since you can't change the order of your hands, the first thing you do on your turn is you have to play the first card. You may play the second card. Secondly, you have to wheel and deal some cards. And then lastly, you throw some cards at the back of your hand. Now, every part about that, every little line before you harvest your cards, Uwe designed it so it's like, hey, you know what? I know you have some extra stuff that you're going to put into your card or into your deck of cards. Here's the thing about that. You can, but you just drew 3 chili beans at the back of your hand. And I know you have a hand of 12 cards. You're going to have to take a lot of turns to get to those. But that'll make that field really nice, and maybe you can trade your stuff away. So it is absolutely a press your luck game, because at the end of every turn, when you're thinking, do I harvest now or not? Every little flavor of everything livens up because you know you're pushing your luck again and again and again. I know people in the chat are disagreeing with me. I think it's a press your luck.
I'm disagreeing with you.
But I think it's negotiation. I think it's incandescent hands. I think it's
immutable.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's trading. I think it's.
I'm sorry I use big words on this podcast for you.
But I use it specifically for press your luck bonanza.
This was closer to trading like Jaipur than the press your luck. The chat's not agreeing with you. I'm not agreeing with you.
All right, I'll be signing this off. And now it makes me wonder. I wonder if we have the same mechanism for our top ones. I bet we do.
No.
No? The same mechanism?
Nope.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I see one. I bet if we don't, yours is multi-use cards. Because mine is deck building, and I'm surprised.
My deck building? I already said deck building.
I forgot.
And number 4.
It should be your number 1.
What's funny?
It should
deck
be your
building.
number 1.
Deck building was on number 4. Multi-use cards was your number 4, wasn't it?
Correct. Correct. Yeah. So we swapped those. And you of course know which one was my favorite deck builder. No, hold on.
Even the computer doesn't agree with you.
Hey, ChatGPT said that I can't win in Forest Shuffle playing only trees, and I stomped him.
Anyway.
Anyway.
By 30 points. I'm not going to disagree. I actually just replayed Forest Shuffle, too.
Yeah? Did you go all tree strat?
No, I played a different strat than I normally do. I played the fox and the hare strat.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
That was actually really neat. I got second place out of it, so...
That's not bad. But anyway, no, deck building, it's one of my favorite card mechanisms because it has everything in it, right? It has engine building. It has press your luck. It has, multi-use cards sometimes. It just has all of these cool factors of how you're building it, and Dominion is my number 1.
Yeah, I knew what it was when you said deck building. I'm like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, of course, right? There's so many good deck builders, but Dominion is my favorite. Well, you could have said flip.
You could have said pears.
You know, Illuminous, hold on now. Here's the thing. Pears is good. And there's a lot of really good press your luck. But Bonanza is the one that I thought does it the best. And I'm not going to sit here idly and be accused of this slander. No, but anyway, back to deck building. Dominion Premium.
I wouldn't
All right,
say
tell us about your multi-use cards.
All right, my number
Did
one.
I call it earlier?
Nope. You called the wrong game for multi-use cards.
Really?
I like this game more for multi-use cards. And you should know this, too, because of, like, everything that I have over here, all the stuff that I watch. I mean, right over your shoulder is one game that actually would fit better for me than San Juan. Though, I do like San Juan a lot.
Yep.
But my number one, multi-use cards. If any game has a multi-use card mechanism, I'm intrigued by it. That's the main reason it's my number one. And my personal favorite of multi-use card games has a very macabre theme to it. And this should have been picked up for you. This is the Bloody End from Pearl Games and Nicholas Robert.
That is good. Man.
First off,
that is good.
It's got Weberson Santiago art on it, so that helps out a lot. I love the fact that I can use this card for anything I want. I want to try to put it in my hand, for I can use it to help me get other cards later on down the line, or use it to help me make some people disappear, or bury those disappeared people, and then grab their pocket change while I'm at it, or using someone to help me, build a new crypt or a church that we can, hide certain things. I love
nothing weird.
Nothing weird at all, and I love everything about this. I do need to try the expansions. I know, or the Carney expansion as modules to the game, and I think that's interesting. But yeah, I just love how this game plays, and it plays really well at 2, and it plays really well at 3, and it plays really well at 4. To the fact that both Damn It Dom and Gamehead Geek were like, "You guys suck." Gamehead Geek was like, "I'm gonna hold off on buying it because I can play this with you guys." Damn It Dom was like, "Oh man," and then I think he put something in the chat. It's like, "Does anybody still need this?" Damn it, Dom. I do. Me.
Help.
But yeah. Yes, Asmodee has the American rights for it because, they don't have the publishing rights per se. They're the ones that are bringing it over to the States because they're still owned by Pearl Games. They're just the publisher to bring it over here in a sense. Kind of like how Rio Grande brings a lot of European stuff over. But they don't, other than what they have to get back from publishing it over here. Yeah, it's oh man. So good. I love the macabre theme. This was the easiest number one for me because, first off, multi-use cards is always going to intrigue me. And 2, it's such a dark theme, but it works so well. Yep. So, again, my number one, The Bloody End, for multi-use card games.
Yeah. You
forgot that one, didn't you?
I did. I don't have an argument for it. I genuinely did. That's a really good pick. Okay. That would have been a decent
I was like, you went with San Juan. Okay. I mean, I get it.
Yeah,
I thought you liked Bloody End more, but I get why you said San Juan. But
no, that is a better example of multi-use cards. It is like a pure multi-use card.
Because everything uses money.
Everything's 4 different ways, right? Yeah. I get it. All right, well, tell us your thoughts on it. In whatever way you're listening to this or watching us, let us know down below what is your favorite card game mechanisms, and tell us some games that you love for that card game mechanism. If you want to tell us directly or to reach out and just say hello, you can email us at everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com, and that's to enter in future contests, say hello, or tell us your thoughts, or maybe even just give us ideas for future episodes. It's up to you. Also, we have an Instagram, instagram.com/everydayboardgames, where you can see the games that Daniel and I have been playing lately, as well as other random stuff that I tend to post. And finally, we have a Discord now. Description below will have the link to our Discord of wherever way you're listening to it.
And by the way, I called it. I said we were only probably going to have 2 or less crossovers. We had 1 game. And one of those was wrong. But you can find all video re-uploads and reviews under youtube.com/@everydayboardgames. And if you like what we do, there are 3 things you can do is to help us grow on the platform. Subscribe if you're not, like the video, and comment down below and tell us how wrong he was about Bonanza.
Whoa.
Or your thoughts on the subject.
We also stream our episodes live at twitch.tv/everydayboardgames, where you can tell Daniel how he's wrong in real time. Make sure you follow us there, so that way you can hopefully side with me. But if not, make sure you follow us.
I had
so
the
you
chat
get
on my
notified,
side today.
where you get notified for when we join live. Thank you, Illuminous. Thank you, Board Game Bard. And thank you, Jamie's Buzz, I think is what it was. And anybody else who joined in today in the chat.
And all audio versions can be found on most podcast platforms under Everyday Board Games Podcast. Those include Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and Apple.
So as always, I want to thank you for tuning in. I've been your host, Daniel.
And I've been your host, Daniel.
And I want to thank you for listening to Everyday Board Games.
And remember, every day is a good day for board gaming.